Welcome to No Flipping Excuses with Jason Lucchese. Jason Lucchese was the guy voted least likely to succeed by his high school peers. Today, Jason's a real estate flipping ninja Jedi Knight assassin who's taken his drive, street smarts, and never give up attitude and converted them into a real estate flipping business and freedom-based lifestyle. Here to share the truth about flipping houses, finding sellers, delivering buyers, real estate investing without the reality show hype, and all-around general business badassery. Your host, Krav Maga enthusiast, husband, and father of three, Jason Lucchese.
Hey, what's up? It's Jason Lucchese with the No Flipping Excuses Show. Welcome. I've got a great episode here for you in store. We're going to be talking about rehabs, finding deals, some of the things that you need to know, especially from a deal analysis standpoint, all the way from a beginner to an advanced level stage. And with me, I've got a good friend of mine. She's got a great podcast show herself, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But we've got Holly McKhan with us. How are you doing, Holly?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. I know our schedules were so crazy. We were trying to get you on. I was trying to do it, which I'm not an organized person. So we had the behind the scenes guy, Mike, who most of you guys know is the Myth, getting Holly all set up. And thankfully, we finally got Holly to be able to come on, schedule this episode, and we are so excited. If you don't know who Holly is, she's been doing some great stuff. She's flipped over 200 properties herself. She's in a very competitive market in California, so it's hard doing deals. So the folks on here that are like, oh, it's so hard doing deals, it's really not when you're getting out there and you're taking action. So Holly, without further ado, tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been in the business.
Sure, I'd love to. And, you know, I have to disagree with you a little bit. It is hard to do deals, but it's not impossible.
Right.
So you can't just, knock on a door 5 doors down and have them agree to sell you their house at 50 cents on the dollar.
Right.
It's not that easy, but it's not impossible. So yeah, so my background, it's so long, but I'll condense it here. I went to school and studied accounting, thinking I was going to be a corporate lawyer, and it was a good undergrad for that, but got so burned out on school because I pushed through college really fast in 3 years, became a CPA, worked for a little firm called Ernst & Young. You may have heard of them.
Yeah, just tiny.
Didn't love it, and the most exciting part of my day was calling, hello, Mr. Jones, I'm missing 5 items for your tax return. And the conversation was 3 minutes and we're done. And that was the entire people interaction. I was so bummed, like, okay, this is not going to be the ultimate career for me, because I was one of those kids that always got in trouble in school for talking to my neighbor. And I didn't realize that that was actually an asset and not a liability. There's an accounting term for you until I was close to 40 years old and realized the fact that I like to talk to my neighbors makes me millions of dollars. So there, teachers. I loved people and loved to talk to people. Very outgoing personality, you can probably tell. And after 5 years in the accounting world, I became a stay-at-home mom and had 4 children.
Nice.
Not at once, spaced them out a little, gave my full attention to them. And when the baby went to kindergarten, I started with the real estate investing with my husband. He had flipped a piece of land to a home builder to build 73 single-family homes on.
Oh, wow.
We got a chunk of money. And talk about your first flip project. My only interaction really was a little bit of networking and interacting with people on that deal and finding a $4.5 million loan. But other than that, we had a little chunk of money when he quit his job in 2006. I'm like, okay, what do we do now? We really focused on first a condo conversion project in Austin, Texas that lost us a ton of money, went nowhere. We California people went in, over improved these apartments. People didn't want to buy them. There was no financing for them. So lost a lot of money, learned a lot of lessons, came back here like, okay, we're going to flip houses one at a time. So starting in 2008, we started buying houses first at auction.
Yep.
And we did about 100 houses from auction buys.
Oh, wow.
And it's kind of crazy here in Southern California, I think it's this way in all of California, you show up with cash in the form of cashier's checks, you buy the home, you get a one-page receipt, you own it. There's no title insurance. If you accidentally buy a second or third, that's your problem. If you buy it and the house burned down and there's no house, that's your problem. Very high risk, but also high reward.
Yeah.
After several years of that, the big hedge funds moved in and started paying full market value and above for homes because they just needed to put their cash to work, fill them with renters, and move on. Like, okay, my husband said, you like to talk to people, Holly, get out there and find us some deals. Go network with realtors and whoever. I did. So the last 125 plus houses have been all through my networking.
Nice.
And connecting with realtors, occasionally sellers or people that know people, and getting my flips in that manner.
Nice.
So sorry, I know that was a long-winded background, but that's kind of how I got to where I am today.
No, and I think, you bring up a great point, and I love pointing this out, especially when I'm talking to experts like yourself, people that are successful individuals. They just didn't start off and they were, hey, I'm flipping homes and I'm making, hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars. It took a little bit. You had to learn from your mistakes. But the one thing that I'm seeing from you that is a true asset is that you weren't afraid to go out there, network, talk to folks, and let them know what you were doing. Because if you didn't do that, if you just went up and started talking to these folks and didn't really tell them, hey, I'm a real estate investor, they probably wouldn't, want to, hey, I've got this great deal for you. But you started talking to them and you really started getting out, what you wanted. And you start getting deals. And I know before we even hopped on here, you told me you're not really doing any direct mail. Is that right?
I've never done any direct mail or any advertising. It's all been through primarily realtors, a little bit of wholesalers, but it's all networking for me. Now, that's not everyone's cup of tea, I know. So, can I turn the tables on you a little bit? How do you get your deals?
So, yeah, we do a ton of networking as well. We hardly ever do direct mail. And when we do, it's a very, very small amount. And it's to a very defined search term that we're using as far as criteria. But no, we're like you. Like one of our main training programs is on LinkedIn. And we find a ton of resources on there as far as finding people at hedge funds, banks, private sellers, private equity funds, and it all costs $0 to do that. So it's a really great strategy to use. That's why I like talking to you about the networking side, is because as entrepreneurs, a lot of us like to go out there and talk to people. We're not the introverted type. So it's pretty cool hearing that from you and hearing, that's a way that you're getting majority of your transactions. So that's really cool. One of the things that, I wanted to hop into and talk with you about is, one of your most recent deals, a deal maybe that you've just done, and kind of like walk us through it. Like how did you find it? And, what were some of the things that you were thinking of when you were going through that deal?
Sure, I would love to. And so the most recent deal that I just closed on the purchase of, so I haven't completed it, I just closed on the purchase on Monday. It's in a town called Irvine, California, which is the heart of Orange County. Big employment center. They're famous for their perfect schools. So people that want to live there overpay for homes because all of our schools there are pretty much rated 10 out of 10.
Oh, wow. Very
competitive for the kids. So if you want your kid to be really intellectually stimulated, that's a great place to live. So I knew it was a really desirable area. And let me tell you how I got the deal. It's kind of interesting. And you never know where your networking path will come from.
Oh, yeah.
This one is the only one that came this way. And nobody else would really do this. But I do buy leads off of Realtor.com for me as a retail realtor. One of those people that came through as a lead to buy a home, she was looking for fixer-uppers. Like, oh, well, not only am I as I call myself, a regular retail realtor, but I also flip houses, so I can help people with renovations and things. Like, oh, well, I want to flip houses. And so this young lady named Maria, we really talked a lot. I didn't sell her anything, but we made like a good connection. Mm-hmm. And she just maybe 3-4 weeks ago, gave me a text saying, hey, can I refer you to a realtor with a deal in Irvine? I'm like, well, heck yeah. She says, it's priced too high for me. The price was like $900,000, and that was out of her comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, $900,000 for like a 1972, 2,200 square foot original condition house. Not very interesting or desirable, and a split level to top it off, which is not everyone's favorite.
Right, exactly.
I'm like, heck yeah, Maria, I would love to talk to this realtor. So I talked to the realtor, and so like a couple of things I'll talk about, important lessons from this, even for myself, is tell everybody you're always looking for deals. And you also got to tell them what's in it for them. So in fact, I told Maria, hey, assuming she wasn't expecting anything in return for this, but I said, if this goes well, I'm going to pay you $5,000 at the close of the deal.
Nice.
Okay, great. She's thrilled. And then I instantly, when I connected with the realtor, I came across, not hard for me, very confident, because I have a great track record behind myself.
Sure.
Like, hey, I've flipped over 200 houses. Here's my proof of funds. I happen to have enough cash in the bank to close it, so I could show legitimate proof of funds, for over $1 million. But you can do hard money. Sellers love cash. So I did switch it out to a loan, but we have plenty of time. The sellers didn't want to close for 3 weeks, so I put a hard money loan on it. My purchase price ended up being $910,000. I had a really good realtor that like pushed hard for getting our offer accepted, because they were going to put it on the market like 5 days later if they didn't get their price.
Oh, okay.
And we thought it was only going to be 900. There's a couple of other flippers in there, and she pushed hard for me. She was awesome. I've never met such a good realtor. Usually I'm coaching and training them how to represent me well. So my purchase price is $910,000. I expect my rehab to be $75,000, which means could be $85,000 or $90,000 when the day is done. So I'll be into it for $1 million. I got a 90% first mortgage, and also they're going to cover the rehab. So I came out of pocket $91,000 plus closing costs. It's probably like $100,000.
Yep.
And then we'll hopefully rehab it real quick, because we're not changing any walls, and we're not changing anything too dramatically. We're just updating all the interior finishes, sprucing it up, hopefully going to market by 1st of August, fingers crossed, maybe second week of August, because I want to market it to families that want kids in that school.
Oh, yeah.
So, I got the hard money, got the connection with the realtor. It's not promised to her to relist. That used to be my whole strategy and offer, like, hey, I'll buy it with you and I'll resell it with you.
Right.
That worked for 100 homes or so. And then our margins here in California got really skinny.
Oh, okay.
So I got my license, and especially at that price point, I expect the after repair value to be between 1.25 and 1.35.
Oh, nice.
So that's a pretty nice spread. And let me tell you, the commission on that at 2.5%, we're looking at, I don't know, $35,000 or something. So I don't just give that away anymore. And my realtor was really happy that we spent, I don't know, 2 hours out of her day for me to go see it with her. I'm like, I have a realtor key I can get in. She's like, oh, I'll take you. And I thought, oh, it's good networking. I'll be face to face with her.
Absolutely.
That was it. Exchange some paperwork, and she made 2.5% of $910,000.
Oh, nice.
So she's already on the lookout for me. She sent me a couple of other too skinny deals, but now I've got her.
That's really nice. That's awesome. So tell me about the rehab.
The rehab is just going to be all new interior finishes from wood floor. I do real wood floors at that price point. Once I get to over $1 million, we do real wood floors. That's about what it takes here. Otherwise, they get laminate. White shaker cabinets, white quartz, very little color. So that's basically what we're doing.
Oh, nice.
The landscaping is already in great shape, and so is the exterior paint. So it's, I will need to do a new HVAC unit because it's original from the 70s.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
So for somebody that's brand new, that's wanting to get involved, it may not even be like in California, because obviously those are coming from Indiana. A $900,000 home is going to be close to 6,000-7,000 square feet. So it's going to be a little bit different. Obviously, we don't get the great views and the palm trees like you guys do. But one of the things that folks can look at, it's pretty much identical how you approach and look at deals. So
Yes.
from your standpoint, like, did you first of all look at the comps to determine like where's going to be your best maximum allowable offer? Like, can you run through like quickly, like what was your thought process on that?
Yeah. And so if you're brand new and you have a realtor bringing you a deal, have the realtor give you the comps. And it's very important to ask that realtor, what do you think it will sell for?
Yep.
Not what would you list it at, because plenty of realtors are just pie in the sky. Oh yeah, Holly, I'd list that house at 1.4 million. Yeah, and it would sit. I mean, when I'm paying hard money costs, I want it to turn fast.
Right.
So I happen to look at comps myself too, and I recommend that you do. Don't entirely rely on a realtor, or maybe
Right.
get a second opinion from another realtor. And so I saw the after repaired value was, probably 1.3 million conservatively. And I don't have my calculator in front of me, but typically I'm looking for, at least like a 10% minimum cash on cash return.
Okay.
So I guess it's going to be really good since I use leverage on this one, but my whole investment in this is $1 million. So that would mean I would want, if I was cash out of pocket, I would want a minimum of 100 grand profit.
Yep.
When I get to this price point, I'd probably want 15% cash on cash, which would be 150,000. And you can take all these numbers and just drop a zero off, and then they apply to much of the rest of the country.
Right.
So say instead of 910,000, it was $91,000, and the after repaired value was $130,000. But then the repairs would be 7,000. Like if you drop all the zeros, like at least the percentages work. You can't really repair a house that extensively for $7,000.
Right.
But you get like the overall feel of the percentages that way, and that's how I would look at it.
No, that's great. I love the fact that you're doing this from a networking standpoint, because like we went out and looked at a few properties last week that are in very desirable neighborhoods, and they all came directly from real estate agents. And it's huge. Like once you let individuals know that, hey, I'm an investor, I'm looking for properties I can close quickly. And even folks that may not have the cash themselves, even if you're looking to wholesale, or rehab, or maybe do like a buy and hold if it's in the right area, and if you have the right type of acquisition capital from maybe like a private money or a hard money person, you can do that. And in this case, Holly, for somebody that's brand new, maybe they don't have that $91,000 or $92,000 in cash. Would your hard money lender would they be okay with you receiving maybe like private money for that if the private money lender was in like a second lien position? Would that be something that they would be okay with too?
That is a lender by lender question.
Right.
And my loan is kind of a unique situation that is more applicable for either advanced investors or probably more of a higher net worth investor.
Okay.
We started out with cash, which is also unusual. Well, I guess very initially starting out, my husband convinced these people with their land to sell it to him with a 1% earnest money deposit of like $25,000 on a $2.5 million purchase. And we borrowed that from a HELOC because we had no money at that point. So, you can do that too. If you've got home equity, go ahead and take a HELOC out and use that HELOC, and don't borrow it till you need it, because then you're not paying interest on it. So my particular situation, and if you are more advanced, I think they want to make sure you've done 12 deals in the last 24 months. They give you what's called a line of credit. So they put me through underwriting in advance and make sure I'm qualified. And they did look at my credit score too.
Yeah.
But now I have a $5 million line of credit that I can use to buy houses. So then it only takes does take them a week. I've had some hard money lenders perform in 3 days because they want my business so bad, but they take a week to underwrite the property. And that's why they're doing that. We have a whole program planned out in advance. And maybe some of your local banks might do like a line of credit. Sometimes they securitize it, buy some rental properties. You can get a home equity line of credit. In plenty of parts of the country, a home equity line of credit might have enough value that you can actually buy a house and flip it. Or you can get enough to put an earnest money deposit down while you're wholesaling it.
Yep.
So there's a lot of opportunities, creative money opportunities, and it's best to just ask lots of questions of people, not for you, but I mean, our listeners, ask questions of other investors. Oh, what creative money ideas do you have? I lend out my proof of funds. I've given out my proof of funds to plenty of wholesalers and investors. Say, hey, show it. You're part of my company, Modern Pacific Homes. You use my track record. We flipped over 200 homes, and they're a brand new guy that's never done anything, but he leans on my proof of funds, my track record, and that's how he gets the credibility.
Love it.
So that's a creative way to do it too.
Love it. Love it. Love the creativeness. And most folks, especially if you're brand new, you want to get that first deal done, you do have to get the creative juices out to really, sometimes if you really want to get a deal done, you have to push and get that creativeness involved so that you can get deals done. So yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, Holly. That seems like it's going to be a great deal for you guys. And that's coming up right around the corner where you guys are going to get that thing sold off. And it sounds like Cali is the type of market to where properties sell pretty quick. They're not on the market that long.
That's true. My guys are demoing it today.
Oh, nice.
They're working on it.
No, that's
well,
awesome.
I'd love to share with you one of my more creative deals
Yes.
to get people thinking about it. So about, when was it? Maybe like 6-8 months ago. Once again, a networking connection. Someone, I mean, it's so random and weird. And I'd forgotten where this guy came from till my husband reminded me. But I'd been a guest on a AM radio show in Anaheim of a mortgage guy. He just wants a different person on every day. So he'd have realtors. He had me on.
Yeah.
So one of the listeners called me and said, hey, I'd like to talk about investing with you and your company. We met up. He decided it wasn't the right time for him, whatever. I kind of forgot about it. He followed me on Facebook, saw my videos with me walking around job sites in my pink hard hat. And he called me up and said, hey, Holly, I know you know what you're doing. Well, he thinks I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing based on me walking around a job site and talking about different things on my house I'm flipping. Would you buy my uncle's house to flip? Because I think it's too much work for me to do. I wanted to do it, but would you do it? I'm like, heck yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So it was owned free and clear. And I'm probably going to mess up the numbers here, but I think I paid him $210,000 for this home in a town called Fontana. It's in our Inland Empire, so it's inland from LA, about an hour. I only gave him 10 grand down with a seller carry first trust deed, is what we call it here in California. So he was holding the mortgage, interest free, no payments for the first, I think it was like 5 or 6 months.
Yep.
And he got his 10 grand up front. There was no realtors involved. I paid what little closing costs there were. And I spent probably 60 grand fixing it. It was a pretty heavy fixer, but only 1,200 square feet. So it was on the smaller side.
Yeah.
And then I flipped it for $355,000. Now, what is so exciting about this particular deal is I was out of pocket my 10 grand up front, plus, I don't know what I said. It was like 60 grand in rehab. So I was out of pocket 70 grand. And I think I probably made another 70 grand. So that's 100% cash on cash return.
Right.
And I did it in like 4 or 5 months.
Nice.
So when you extend that to a year, that's like at 200%. So the more leverage you can use, the better it is. I got that deal from someone that knew me and trusted me, just saw my videos on Facebook, and that gave him trust and confidence in me.
Yep.
So that's another thing. If you're not too shy to put photos and or even video lets people feel really connected to you. They trust you.
Yep.
Or if they're thinking about selling their house to you and they go check you out on the web, if they see a bunch of video, they feel that familiarity, and familiarity breeds trust as long as you're a trustworthy person. And I mean, that was a really exciting deal to me, that the Facebook videos, I wonder, does anybody watch these? Do they think I'm a nut walking around my job site in my pink hard hat talking? It worked. I got a deal from it. So.
No, that's awesome. I think as you do it consistently, it really enables you as the authority as well within your field. So that helps out quite a bit too. Like if you're giving value on your videos, like you walking around job sites and, you know, pointing out things and talking about certain things that you're doing on your properties, that really gives people value and yes, starts trusting you quite a bit. And that deal obviously is evident that, you know, somebody watched your videos and really helped out quite a bit. So that's something like I always encourage folks to do is, you know, it's 21st century technology is catching up. And, Facebook is huge with Facebook Live. You've got LinkedIn now that allows videos up to 10 minutes. Obviously, you could do YouTube. And there's Instagram, all that good stuff out there you could be doing. And all you need to do is have a smartphone. Like all of us, like nowadays, besides, I think the last person on the planet is my own dad. He still has like a 1998 flip phone. But we all have cell phones they're smart. So they all can do the video stuff. We do video all the time. And if you're not comfortable on it, record yourself like the first few like times that you do it. If you don't like it, great. At least you're getting comfortable, talking to a camera. So that's good because it takes a little bit of time. Wouldn't you agree to get comfortable talking to a smartphone device?
Oh yeah. Well, along those lines, having videos online would be a great credibility enhancer and booster to connecting with realtors.
Yep.
So if you go meet a realtor and say, I'm an investor, okay, and even if you're brand new, maybe you find a buddy's house that you say, hey, would it be okay if I walked around your job site and did videos for 5 minutes and just talked about what's going on? You don't have to say, this is my own project. You say, hey, today we're on 123 Main Street and we're going to walk you through what's going on here. And we had to change the plumbing. And then here we had some mold we had to remediate. If you put some videos up like that and you point a realtor to those, they're like, oh, wow, they know what they're doing.
Yep.
So that would be really helpful. And I got even better at my videos because my husband, who films me all the time, is like, how do you just do this in one take and you don't stumble over your words? I stumble 1 out of 20 times. I'm not perfect, but I got much better from going to Toastmasters.
Oh, yeah.
And you can network at Toastmasters. Yep. And my Toastmasters group, which is, it's a club that meets once a week. They're an international organization. They have them all over the world.
Yep.
They meet for like 1.5 hours. And my particular one is all retired people. And they would all be good potential lenders, investors into my company. Yep. And guess what? I gave a speech on, investing not with me, but like how to do investing and lending with, basically a flipper. So there's great opportunities. Not only would you become a great speaker, but you can meet people potentially with money. Like my dad did it when he was retired. That's like a total retired person thing or successful business person. And they both have good connections and money. So I've never said, check out Toastmasters ever before, but I'm like, you know what? Toastmasters could be a really good resource.
It really can.
Get you comfortable.
Yeah. It's like one of the biggest fears for people. It's not jumping out of planes. It's not doing bungee jumping. It's doing public speaking. And
it is.
It's crazy, but Toastmasters I've heard of. I've never personally attended, but I know that one of the things is to have you get up there and do presentations, and that's a really great way to get over your fear. And plus, the folks in the audience, they're going to be able to help you, give you insights on, hey, I would have said this, or hey, just relax, be a little bit more confident in what you're delivering. Just things like that. Those are extremely helpful tips and tricks to do all that, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a very safe place where you can mess up and people will still be warm and friendly and caring and help you. Because I would see beginning people in there sweating and shaking today, like they're paralyzed with fear. So wouldn't you rather be paralyzed with fear in front of a group of kind, friendly people than in front of a seller when you're trying to go negotiate a deal? Like, you don't want to practice on them. You want to practice with other people.
Right. So. Exactly. No, I agree with you 100%. And so a couple last things here. I know we've talked about some two great deals that we've gone over here, but let me ask you this, Holly, for folks that are just starting out right now. They get so caught up in, several different training programs. They get caught up in different softwares, all these things that, can kind of get in the way. And pretty much they get in their own way, because that kind of that happened to me. What would you recommend to somebody so they can kind of just get past the shiny object syndrome and just start moving forward? What would be like the top recommendation that you would like to give?
I would say to find either a mentor or a group of peers or friends, ideally maybe at a local real estate club.
Yep.
Some of the clubs, not many of them, are like pushing education programs, but at least most of them here in Southern California, which there is one, I think, every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in Orange County or Los Angeles or San Diego. Like you could find a club any night of the week in the middle of the week to go to. Most people are pretty friendly and helpful and kind. And if you're starting out with no money, then you need to find people that if you find deals, you can wholesale them to.
Yeah.
Or people that you can borrow a proof of funds from, or that you can work for free and give value to while they let you shadow them. But you don't know what you don't know until you're into it. And don't let that paralyze you. Like I've met people that go, oh, well, I want to have all of my processes, procedures, and systems in place before I start, and people that can do everything. No, you have to just go look for a deal. That's your first thing, is find a deal.
Yep.
And then you go. But it's great to have some resources of people behind you that you can go ask, oh my gosh, they asked me for this, or the realtor said she wants an EMD. What's an EMD? You need to have someone you can go to so you don't look quite so new or foolish.
Right.
Because also my experience has been realtors, they would test me and go, oh, you have done deals? Well, I want to see your proof of funds and your LLC documents, or I want to see a tracker. I'm like, sure, no problem. Here you go. I'm like, oh, well, some people say they are, and then they have no money and they can't close on deals, and they've embarrassed me and ruined my reputation when I got deals. I understand that. So don't just be blowing smoke. If you're going to say you can close a deal, you need to have some resources behind you that you can close that deal.
I agree.
So I would just, once again, I'm coming back to networking, but people are the solution. Find investor groups, investors, that you can lean on, or if you're in a program and you have a coach, have someone you can go to with questions. Because even now, I'm super thankful. My husband is not full time necessarily in it with me. He's, on the side part-time because he now does a corporate job. It's so great to have someone to bounce the ideas off of it. Well, and this is what they said now. How can I counter this offer? You got to have someone two heads are better than one all the time.
I fully agree. No, that was a great response. Next thing that I want to ask you is, what would be a good book that you would recommend, that, like a business book that you would recommend, like, and if you need to take a second, go ahead, because we really want to make sure folks are like, because we try and give book recommendations from the experts that we have come on the show, and we've gotten some really, really great recommendations. So I'd be curious to see what yours is.
Okay, well, my best networking book, and I'm going to tell you how to digest it, is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, I believe is the proper way. How I applied that book is reading one chapter a day, and the chapters are 2-3 pages, and try to apply it.
Yep.
For instance, one thing I still need to work on is, I remember there's a chapter on the sweetest sound in any language is the sound of a person's name. So I should have been this whole time saying, Jason, Jason, and that will help you in all of the people you interact with, from contractors to sellers to realtors. So that's the best people skill book. My favorite business principle for real estate investors, I think, was the E-Myth for real estate investors.
Nice.
That was awesome. And I am constantly devouring books and podcasts on the order of probably 2 hours a day on my smartphone, when I'm driving, when I'm doing my hair and makeup, when I'm unloading the dishwasher. I am learning. So That is a huge tip. You just have an Audible subscription for $15 a month. It will recommend more business type books based on what you choose. And I would recommend that highly. You can't get enough of learning.
Oh gosh, I love that. That's so great. Audible is such a great way to do it. I love books, but it's really tough for me to sit down and actually read a book. So one of the best ways for me to do it is it takes me literally about 3 hours to mow our lawn, because it's a big lawn. So I'll normally be able to pound out an audiobook, maybe in about 1.5 sessions on there. But also, if you want to do something else, go for a walk or go to the gym. Do something, give yourself, for the listeners out there, give yourself at least 30 minutes, 60 minutes every single day that's just for you. And if you could do like a podcast or you listen to audiobooks, highly recommended. And I'm glad Holly said that too. And Holly's got a great podcast. Let's go ahead and have you share the name of your podcast and where folks can find that at.
Sure. Well, they can find it on their favorite podcast player, such as iTunes, or for me, it's Podcast Republic because I'm a diehard Android phone user. I've tried to switch to iPhones and I can't. But yeah, it's called Hard Hat Holly. Easy to remember.
That is.
So yeah, I've got all kinds. I think we're up to 92 episodes on there.
Congratulations.
And there's all kinds of real estate investing advice. I've had great, tax guys on there, sales guys. But mostly it's real stories of real life investors like you, Jason. I can't wait to have you on. And I love to just share the real world, real life case studies, not just, baloney numbers or whatever, but real deals from real people, because anyone can do this work.
Yeah.
It's harder, like some parts of it are harder. I don't have a problem talking to people, but do I like to sit down and run comps and crunch numbers? No, my husband loves it. So maybe you team up with people that have different, aspects to it.
I love that.
Yeah, so check out my podcast, Hard Hat Holly. You can go to hardhatholly.com and find the link to it, as well as on my homepage. I've got a free download called Secrets to Finding Deals, and it tells you how I found 100 deals with no money spent on marketing, just the different avenues that I've networked in to find deals.
Nice. So secrets to finding deals.com. You can go there.
No, sorry. hardhatholly.com and you'll find it.
Okay. Hard Hat Holly. And then your ebook is Secret to Finding Deals.
Yeah, you just click on the homepage, You'll find it. It's right there,
cool.
When you go there.
So
people go there. They want to find deals for no money, right?
That's an easy URL, hardhatholly.com. Go there. You could grab her free download that she has for you. I highly recommend it. Encourage it. This woman is doing some amazing things in California. And I would encourage you to get it. Finding anybody that's really great at networking, that's definitely a key thing that I would encourage anyone to get. So again, hardhatholly.com. You could also find the link for Holly's podcast down there. And she is in, I believe, New and Noteworthy. So that podcast is getting a lot of great attention because she's delivering really great episodes with tons and tons of value. So highly encourage you to go check out her show. But besides that, any parting words, Holly, that you want to leave our listeners with?
Sure. I would like to tell people to take action. I meet too many people that are paralyzed with fear. And if you're not sure what to do, find a buddy at a real estate club. There's other people that maybe are the same stage as you or a little more advanced, or find them through networking online, maybe on Facebook. I'd be like, hey, Jason, let's be accountability partners.
Yeah. Let's
each make 10 calls to realtors tomorrow and check in with each other tomorrow night. And then you can say, wow, what did you say when they asked you this? And what did you say without that? So just get a team or accountability group or a mentor around you and then take action.
Yep.
You might make mistakes. I've lost money on deals, but you just keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. And you learn from the mistakes. Just don't make sure the mistakes don't continue to happen. Learn from those mistakes. So awesome. Thank you so much, Holly, for being a guest today on the No Flipping Excuses show. Folks, if you enjoyed this episode that we had with Holly, make sure that you go ahead and give us a 5-star review, become a subscriber. And if you have any questions, you can always submit them to support@jasonluchese.com, and we'll always be on the response of getting you an answer to your question. And you can always leave us any feedback on potential shows that you would like us to go over in the future. But other than that, I'm Jason Lucchese. Thanks for joining us today on the No Flipping Excuses show. Talk to you later. Take care. Bye now.
Thanks for listening. For show notes and links to anything discussed on today's program, visit noflippingexcuses.com. If you'd like to call the show, dial 317-900-1307, 24/7, Leave a message with your first name and where you're calling from, and include your question, comment, or concern. Who knows? You might end up on the air with Jason Lucchese. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher. The links are posted at noflippingexcuses.com. Remember, you can close more deals now, make your own rules, and design and live an amazing life without having some jerk-off boss tell you what to do. Share noflippingexcuses.com with like-minded people you know who are ready for badassery, crushing it in real estate, and enjoying freedom to whatever you like, whenever you like it.